The first one. What does the state of a planet say about the Karaka indication of the planet? So what does the state of the planet say about the Karaka indications of the planet? Okay. Now, when we're talking about Karakas, remember, each planet represents many things. The classic ones. Jupiter represents children, offspring. Mars represents peers and siblings. Saturn represents elders. The sun represents authority figures. The moon represents the mother. Vehicles, luxuries represented by Venus. Friends, Mercury, communication, Mercury, and so on. So what does the state of a planet say about the Karaka indications of the planet? So essentially what that's doing is it's saying, all right, well, if you want to know about a person's relationship with authority figures or a person's capacity to be an authority, well, then we need to go check out the sun and see, is the sun with cruel planets? Is the sun in difficult dignity? Is the sun in good dignity? Is the sun in a situation where it's hemmed in between benefic planets? So in that situation, we're not thinking about the planet as a house lord. We're just thinking about the planet as what does it represent by its own archetypal nature. Venus can represent women in the chart for heterosexual men. If we want to see how an individual relates to women in their life, well then yes, we can look to the 7th house. We can look to influences to the 7th house lord, but we know that Venus is also a Karaka for that particular situation. So we get further confluence by also looking at the state of Venus of its own accord. Does this answer your question? Good, excellent. And remember, this is all about confluence. This is the key to doing astrology well. Confluence is the key to doing astrology well, because you don't want to be like those astrologers that say, oh, Mars is exalted, so therefore you have these situations. You don't want to say, just like we learned yesterday, we had one of our participants here who we didn't look at their chart, we just asked questions about their chart, and we saw that they had Jupiter and Venus in the 3rd house. And my question, not knowing the rest of their chart, was, well, in a situation, are you more valiant? Are you more courageous? Or do you wait for someone else to take the lead in that regard? And they said, oh, well, I can't, I'm impatient. I would take the lead to defend someone or to be more valiant and more courageous. And then I asked, well, where is your Mars? And her Mars was exalted with Saturn in an angle. So it's that kind of thing that if you just would have looked at that Jupiter and Venus, you would have made an incorrect assessment. But if you add on to the fact that you get Mars and Saturn together in an angle, with Saturn being in good dignity and so on, and Mars being exalted, that's going to give you more confluence about the subtlety or complexity of the individual of the chart. So all this is about confluence. That's why, as you learn this, it's why in one of the last quizzes for the year 1 students, those of you who are in year 1, I said, the question was, what happens if you look at a chart and you see nothing pointing in the same direction, nothing saying anything definite, and they're asking you a question that they want a definite answer on? What do you say? And the correct response is, there's no definite answer. I can't see it. Nothing is pointing in the same direction. So you have to make a choice or a decision and then work towards it. But astrologically, there is no correct answer in that regard. And that's the right answer, because you're only going to be able to see certain things in a chart if you see it line up over multiple things, such as related to the house, 7th house relationships, the house lord of the 7th house, Venus, positions from Venus, positions from the 7th house, the Dara Karaka. When you see something that is exactly the same from all of those positions, that is one of those karmas that you as an astrologer have a great capacity to say, it's going to be this way. I'm 90% certain of it. If you see it half one way, half another, you can say there's a possibility there, but you're going to have to work it. So again, astrology is about trends. It's not definite. It's about trends. If it were definite, then this whole universe is a machine. And why do we need astrology in the first place? Because what's going to happen is going to happen. So it's stupid to sit around and talk about. Let's just be present in what's going to happen one way or the other. So we're not stupid, right? At least no one I know here is stupid. So it's fine.